All right, kids, I don't know how many times I've talked about empowerment, overcoming, and progress that defies preconceived notions and ill-gotten ideas about blackness. But I know we're not what white supremacy says we are. But when it comes down to it, I don't want black people to tell you how to be black either. So today we're going to talk about, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, today we're going to talk about black supremacy, specifically Hoteps. Hotep is an ancient Egyptian term that means to be at peace, and is used as a greeting similar to Namaste, Shalom, and Assalamu Alaikum. And we'll talk about this later. From Imhotep, a Hotep is someone who has gotten a little carried away in their support for Afrocentrism and has taken on board a variety of conspiracy theories. Even if you don't see them or this video for a while, watching this episode, you'll see that Hoteps promote a brand of black nationalism or cultural nationalism that is frequently rooted in Egypt. And they are very much pro-black until they're not. Now, I've seen Hoteps depicted on screen and online through the likes of In Living Color, Higher Learning, Don't Be a Menace, Insecure, Dear White People, and of course, memes. A regular theme and a Hotep talking point is somewhere in the realm of black authenticity. So I guess I'm making this video because Hoteps could come for you, my biracial angels. I know this from experience. They've come for me because I'm married to an indigenous non-black woman born in South America. Now, I would think you really can't control love or whom you're attracted to, but a Hotep would say that if my mind, spirit, and third eye were truly with the people, then my heart would follow. Okay. What percentage or ratio of blackness does one need or a couple have to have? I can only imagine that a Hotep wouldn't want to do a DNA test because it will prove what they already know. They aren't 100% black either. All told, black Americans have good reason to believe that if there was a white person in their ancestry, it could be a result of Thomas Jefferson. That's for the select. How many of us are actually the result of, say, a black man going to college and falling in love with an indigenous or brown person who happened to be walking by eating ice cream or something like that, creating you? Hypothetical. I don't know any Hoteps personally, so beyond the stereotypes of dashikis and kente cloth, animal skins, tribal garb, and ancient Egyptian royalty clothes, a black man dressed in an African kufi hat and talking like this, brother. So I'm going to use this article by The Root in order to inform this video and to provide you with ways to recognize them and their dangerous ideology. Here are 5. A steadfast belief in illogical conspiracy theories, the Illuminati, New World Order, the white man trying to hold us down, an arrogant adherence to respectability politics, educating oneself to avoid being indoctrinated by the white man, assuming the books they're reading are real, true, and not part of that indoctrination. Then there's sexism and homophobia, unbold and uncompromising support of any black man accused of any wrongdoing, even if said man's guilt is clear, and, of course, ashy ankles. But here's a real-world practical application of what we're talking about. Take the example of Lil Nyx. Now, kids, you knew of him because of the absurdly popular song Old Town Road, which topped the charts for a record 19 weeks in 2019. Well, some time ago, he came out as gay, and his music, along with the music videos, have been a display of his identity and expression. Montero, Lil Nas X's real name, would have had to know that Old Town Road, a song he recorded at the age of 18, while living with his sister, with a beat he bought on the internet, anonymously, from a Dutch producer, and features references to drinking lean and to infidelity, which us parents allowed our children to listen to anyway, would catch on at the K-12 level. Or, the white man planned this all along and Lil Nas is doing the bidding of the music industry to emasculate us. When's the last time you saw overt and overly homosexual white artists that are highly marketed, except for Elton John, Freddie Mercury, Boy George, George Michael, Sam Smith, maybe Liberace, and David Bowie and Ricky Martin? Respectability politics come with telling Lil Nas X to calm down the gayness, don't look or act so gay, which is also clear homophobia, but it gets worse when Hoteps, among others, tell him that the way he lives his life and who he's attracted to isn't natural. A Hotep won't support Lil Nas X, but he will be down for R. Kelly. Hoteps are in favor of a narrow, singular manliness. And if that sounds like toxic masculinity, you're right. So to them, gay means feminine, and femininity is weak. And weakness won't liberate black people, which is in direct opposition to the black male cause. Here's how writer, poet, and black man who calls Columbus home, Saeed Jones, swiftly dealt with the ashiness of it all. Oh, as for ashy ankles, why stop there? knees, elbows, and especially that thumb index finger pit. And all of this just scratches the surface, which is covered in dry skin. Once upon a time, I made a video about black conservatives and how they are propped up by white people for dunking on black people. Well, Hoteps don't appear to be propped up even by black people, and I think they exalt themselves. But both black conservatives and Hoteps will surely let you know that white liberal policies intentionally destroyed the black family. Okay. Hey, I hope these men not only marry black women, most likely women who are ultra-feminine, attractive, and submissive to black male patriarchy, but remain in those nuptials and establish a foundation of black wealth for generations. And if divorce were unavoidable, then alimony is in order, along with child support, and no prenup, by the way. I'm sure we can blame the white man for that too. I feel like I should pause and say Hotep to the Hoteps who may be watching. One thing I've been wondering is if you see yourselves as Hoteps. Now, I get that as a black man whose culture, heritage, lineage, and humanity was taken, that we find our power in Africa. But how many of us can trace our roots back to Egypt in particular, instead of any other African countries? Is it to bolster the claim that we were kings and queens before colonialism? I mean, look at me. I'm certain that with my build and my skin tone, I'm from East Africa. Also, I am the type of person who will probably never do a 23andMe because I am a black man whose last name is Wiggins, and I'd rather not figure out why I have an English last name, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah, I read another article which said that we shouldn't even refer to fake woke brothers as Hotep in order to be respectful to the Kemetic religion and spirituality that comes from Egypt. At some point in my lifetime, Hotep came to mean something negative. This wasn't always and shouldn't be the case. In Egyptian history, Hotep was the name of the great physician and the designer of the first pyramid, Imhotep, as I mentioned earlier. Hotep was also the name of some of Egypt's greatest pharaohs. Suggestions for new names that we should call these men who are obsessed with oppression but have no plan and have made no progress: Photep or Notep. So maybe we can call them Oswalds after that character from A Living Color. Look, this is beyond mere names. This may be a terrible comparison, but there has to be millions of innocent Karens who suffer unjustly due to that label. But how else are we going to easily describe such a social phenomena using only 2 syllables? I mean no disrespect. Besides Karens and Oswalds, former Hoteps, your complaints would fall on my deaf ears. I get it too. I'm a Jeff.
You're using an unneeded F. Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
It's Hefe, man.
How are you supposed to be a strong, thrilling, powerful warrior and lover with a name like Jeff? You do not mess with a Jeff.
But with oppression and enslavement of our people always in mind, if a black person's idea of blackness, empowerment, overcoming, and progress doesn't include women in the LGBTQ community, then it doesn't work for 3/5 of us. White supremacy may be the one thing we agree on, so we're gonna be all right.